Hi, so I'm going to change it up today. I'm going to have homemade poutine. And I learned how to make homemade poutine from my mother. My mother's gravy was like to die for. She made the best gravy. And I don't know what spice she put in it. I still haven't figured it out. But I do know cayenne pepper and black pepper make it very spicy, and I like that. But I'm not going to use the cayenne pepper because guess what? I forgot to buy it. So when I went over to the store, I bought no name brand French fries, and I'm going to have a few of those, but I'm going to have homemade poutine. And the first thing you got to do is the gravy, and the gravy is my mom taught me this. So if you want nice dark thick gravy, okay, use cornstarch. Cornstarch is, my mother used flour, but I went over and I bought cornstarch because I remember someone telling me that cornstarch makes the gravy thicker. So I'm going to try that. But normally I use flour and water to make my gravy. So actually, I'm going to, because I want to show people the old way of doing things. So yeah, I'm going to use flour. I'm not going to use my cornstarch. I'm going to use the flour. Flour and water is what we would make the paste with. So I've got hamburger from the 3 rolls of hamburger that I bought from Giant Tiger, and I think it was a little bit over $10, maybe $11, $12 for 3 rolls of ground beef. I also got 4 rolls of ground chicken for $10 and a thing of salmon filet for, I think it was like $5. So all that meat, that's quite a bit of meat, and that's going to last me for the whole month of September. So today I want to have poutine. And so I'm frying my hamburger. I put garlic cloves, a massive bunch of garlic cloves in, because that's anti-inflammatory, in with the hamburger when I'm frying it. I also put onions, because I love my onions. So I put a whole onion in here, diced up. What else is in here? So a little bit of salt, because I don't usually eat a lot of salt, but so I put a little bit of salt in there. I fried this up. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. But I'm going to do it the way my mom used to do it back in the day when we were low income, okay? Now, back in the day, it was cheap to get oxo cubes. It wasn't cheap to get beef broth. And normally my mother would use the broth. She would put a little bit of water in, and she would use the broth from the ground beef. However, this is lean ground beef, so there's not a lot of fat on it. So it's not going to give a lot of taste, because the lean ground beef was cheap. It was three rolls for like under, I actually think it was $11. I think it was $11, but it was from Giant Tiger, so you can check it out, because that's a normal price there. So anyhow, we didn't always have the money for the beef broth, and sometimes there wasn't enough fat in the beef, just like now, right? So my mother would use oxo cubes, beef oxo cubes, right? And that's what I did. I bought some beef oxo cubes. So I'm going to take one and I'm going to crunch it up, and I'm going to put it in with my hamburger and let my hamburger cook. However, first I have to do this. I got to take my collagen, because if you take your collagen peptides, if you take them during your fast, it will break that fast. So I normally wait until after 2 o'clock, which is when my fast breaks. And I take my 2 scoops of collagen in my coffee. So I'm going to do that first so I don't forget. Because sometimes I forget, and maybe I'll do a double dose of it, and I don't want to do that. Because I got this on sale, but it's not always on sale. So, you gotta be, you gotta kind of be a little bit, frugal with things. Because normally this is $21.74, and that's half price. $21.74 is half price, and I got it for half of $21.74. And the other one I got for $2 because they forgot to mark it down, but there's no more in the cheap bin, so I got to be frugal. So I'm gonna have my collagen peptides in my coffee, and I don't have any creamer or milk, so dollar store, right? So you do healthy in one hand, and then you do shitty in another hand, right? So, but it is what it is. It is what it is. We're going to survive however we got to survive. But yeah, so I'm going to take my collagen peptides. And I'm going to break an oxo cube into the hamburger while it's frying. And I'm just going to use my fingers because it's just me. No, I've got it turned down a little bit too much. Okay, so I'm just going to take and use my fingers, and I'm going to break it up. And I am going to put water in this, so the oxo cube will kind of give it, a little bit of zest. It'll give it a little bit of taste, right? So, but we are going to put some water in that. I might put 2 of them. Yeah, I think I'll put 2 of them. I don't want to mix up and put a chicken one in, because I use chicken oxo cubes also, and I get them from the dollar store. They're cheaper from the dollar store. I think they're $5 at the grocery store. So. Chef Antoine wouldn't be happy with me. Actually, I think a lot of chefs, do use their hands, their fingers, to cook. I think that's true. I think it's true. Okay, so we're going to put a little bit of water in there because it's all fried. So I'm going to fill up the frying pan with water. Okay? And that water has been boiled, but it's cold. So the hamburger is fried. We put in garlic cloves. I put in garlic powder. I put in salt. And the next thing I'm going to put in is going to blow your mind. And I got this from my mom, and it tastes so good. Now, I don't know what is it nutmeg that they put in around Christmas time? They put in the gravies. And my mom made gravy. Oh, you could just eat the gravy. You didn't never mind the potatoes. You could just eat the gravy, right? So I put a lot of pepper in. A lot of pepper. I don't have any cayenne. I don't think I have any nutmeg. I'm not sure. Let me see. Paprika, corando. What's this one? No, I don't think I have any nutmeg. I don't know. That might be nutmeg. I don't know what that one is, but it's not paprika. Ugh. It's not paprika. So I have a lot of pepper in there, so I'm going to let that come to a boil. And the fries, I'll put the fries in the oven, and I did get cheese. So we could do that. I could cut some cheese up. So I get jalapeno cheese. It's like $6 for this, but it lasts me a long time. And don't forget, I have all those crackers, right? So a snack in the evening could be a couple of pieces of cheese with a bunch of my homemade non-gluten crackers. Like, how can you beat it? You can't beat it. So I eat cheese and then I eat non-gluten crackers. I don't know. Whatever works. Anyhow. So, what do I need? I need my trusty old thingamabob. Cheese grater, that's what they call it, cheese grater. And my beautiful red bowls that I got from Miss Eliane. And what I'm going to do is I am going to grate some cheese. I so want a tiny home. I want a tiny home, and then I keep thinking, okay, you're going to get a tiny home, you're going to manifest a tiny home, and what are you going to do for cupboard space? Because when I cook, I like to cook, right? If I'm baking, I bake bread, it takes the whole damn table, you know what I'm saying? So, well, I could do that. I could use a table for that. Yeah, sure I could. Yeah. And I did get a new speaker, so see my new speaker, but I have it sitting up on something, and so I'm trying to do everything at one time here, so. And I don't know why, but it's got a sound to it. It might have like crackled or something. So I don't know. I'm just learning how to do this, right? I'm a rookie at everything. Yeah. I'm a rookie at everything when it comes to, what's this called? IT tech? Whatever. Yeah. Oh, wait till you see the cute things. Okay, so I was talking to you about making my homemade crackers. I'm just horrible at putting makeup on. Anyway, making my crackers, right? And I wanted to do for Christmas, what I wanted to do is I wanted to make some crackers, but I wanted to make like animal crackers. And, you know, I save all my mason jars, and what I was thinking is, and even jars, even ordinary jars, right? So get a mason jar and, you know, fill it full of crackers. Okay, let's see. So fill it full of homemade crackers, right? And I have those little tops. Wait till I show you. Gotta show you. I have to show you. I have to show you my ideas. This comes with being a senior and being lonely. Nobody to talk to, so I talk to you. Okay, so you get your mason jar, fill it full of crackers, right? And then get these from the dollar store. They have different colors, so I got itchy head. This will close it up. You put that on top. Then you put the little thing on, Bobby. Wait till I show you. Look. Isn't that the cutest thing? And then you can get one of those little hanging tags to say Merry Christmas and, you know, gluten-free, right? So I just thought that was so cool. And look, isn't that pretty? I thought it was pretty anyway. That's just me, but I just thought it was kind of cute to do, and I think it would be fun. So anyhow, what I wanted to tell you is, what I did is I was over at the thrift store. Oh, and if I would have had money, there were 2 benches there, like, you know, side benches that you put at the bottom of your bed. I have an Egyptian chair at the bottom of my bed, so I don't need it. But I do have children and grandchildren who might have loved it. So anyhow, they had these little benches there, leather-bound benches, just beautiful, beautiful. And I'll post a picture. I'm going to post a picture because I love to thrift, right? So anyhow, while I was over there, I did buy a few things. I bought, guess what? Hang on. I'm falling apart. So, I like to make bread, and I like to make sourdough bread, and I like to make donuts, and I like to make twisters, homemade twisters, all around Christmas time. And so I was looking at the baked goods, like not the goods, but the pots and pans and things like that, right? And look what I found. Yeah. I think I scored, but I'm not sure, because the back of it said $3.50 and the front said $5.50. So I hope to hell they didn't charge me $5.50 for this, but it doesn't matter. I'm not taking it back. I should have waited till senior day because it still would have been there. But it's a donut pan, I guess. And what you do is you can just put your dough in there. You can use the dough with the yeast in this, put it in the ring and put it in there. Or what I seen, okay, is I seen where they used biscuit powder. You know, you can buy it from the dollar store, the biscuit, instant biscuit or whatever it's called. You can use that, and you can actually put it in here and make, make kind of like donuts for the morning to have with your eggs, right? Like bagels, kind of like bagels with a biscuit mix that they sell at the dollar store. So I just thought that was so cool. I thought it was so cute I had to get it, right? Not saying I absolutely needed it right now, but I did. Okay, I did. I bought it. Anyhow, so this has come to a boil, and you'll see how dark it is. I'll bring it over and I'll show you. Look how dark it is. The pepper gives it, the pepper will give it a really, really good taste. But what I like to do now is I'm going to turn it down, and I'm going to let it simmer. And what happens is the OXO cube will break down, and the pepper will kind of like give it a really zangy kind of taste. Got itchy back. Anyhow, and the pepper will help give it a real zangy taste. Sorry, itchy back. Okay, so what I did at the thrift store is I went looking for cookie cutters. Because when I make my non-gluten crackers, I can also make some hummus. I can give that as a gift. You know, it's saving money, but it's also healthy. And I use nothing, like it's gluten-free, and the hummus I make with chickpeas, and so it's good for you, right? So what I did is there was a whole bag of different types of cookie cutters. I took it. Right? And I think I got the bag for $1.50, right? And these alone of themselves would be really expensive if you bought it from Michael's. Look at little hearts, a little, I don't know what you call that, starflake or snowflake, a Christmas ornament. Look at, isn't that cute? A camel, a little gingerbread man. I don't know what that is, a side heart. And I like this one. This one is a seashell. And they're all metal. And I want the metal ones because they cut a lot easier. This is kind of like a teardrop. I had to wash them, that's why. And then this is like, I think those bombos, candy, right? And then a star. Yeah. So I got them all. I washed them up, and I'm going to utilize them to make my crackers. Okay. Nobody tell me you've never done this, okay? A fork and you're back. Don't tell. I'll put it in the watch, I promise. But Jesus, my back was itchy. See, I told you I was from the 60s. And no modern fangled chick here. Yeah, so let's get cracking on this, right? Well, that's simmering. I think it's simmering a little bit too high. So, yeah, so we're going to have this. And then we are going to have homemade poutine, and I'm so excited about it. I got a little bit of a light there, so I don't know where I can do this. Anyhow, there are some things that I found out today when I was researching on the internet, and that light is really bothering me. Okay, so what I found out on the internet kind of shocked me and disgusted me and dismayed me, and I was just like taken aback by the stupidity and the moronic avenues that people are going to, you know, to, I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say. Let me tell you what it is first. Okay. So in the United States in 1978, there was a lot of people that were against the gay community, the homosexual community. And apparently in the States, they had some type of like witch hunt. They were, you know, people who were homosexual or lesbian or whatever, they were ostracized and they were picked on and they were hounded, and they were like followed and heard and blah, 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 and on, right? And it was terrifying for these people. I mean, I don't got a problem with who you love. I don't got a problem if you're lesbian or homosexual or transsexual. God bless you. I mean, he blesses all of us. I got no problem with that. However, what I'm going to tell you, I have a problem with. I have an extreme problem with it. So in 1978, there was a group that was formed, and it was actually formed, apparently, it was said that it was formed to kind of form a coalition for the people who were homosexual. And specifically homosexual. Not lesbian, but homosexual. Okay. And it was supposed to be a group of support, a support system for them, okay? Well, what it has turned into is a thing called NAMBLA or something like that. And it is men over the age of 30 who are preferably and who want to and who do have sexual relations with minors. Now, there's something about this whole thing, it's sickening. I find it sickening. And so what they're doing is they're wanting to look after the rights of people who identify as persons attracted to minors or to young persons, okay? Persons attracted to minors or young persons are pedophiles, okay? The law was enacted. However, I was even a little bit disgusted with that, because what I found out is that in the States, the legal age of consent at one point was 13. And then they changed it to 14. And now it's 16. And you know why? Because they see that a child, which basically is what a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old is, okay? They haven't even really gone through puberty. They haven't finished it, you know what I'm saying? So they're not even aware of their own sexual connotations, their own sexual feelings. They're not even fully developed. Okay, so they weren't having the ability to make decisions that, these are the type of decisions you make when you're an adult. Am I ready to have sexual intercourse? Am I ready to do this? Do I want to have sexual relations with the same sex? Is that my ideology? Is that my belief system? Is that something that I truly, truly want? And they weren't psychologically balanced enough to make those decisions, nor were they physically adapted for those type of relationships, okay? So there was a big kerfuffle about the age of consent. Now the age of consent is, I think it's 16 to 18. Now, did you know that if it is someone, okay, sure, the age of consent is 16, like I'm from Canada, so the age of consent is 16. However, it's older if that person is a guardian, or if that person is a teacher, or if that person is someone who is in a position of authority and they are instructing you in some way. Then the legal age of consent reverts to 18, because that's kind of like saying that that person, if they're teaching you, that they might be influencing your decision in some way, because they are instructing you in life, right? In whatever in life. So, yeah. So if it's a person in a circumstance of authority in your life, a teacher, a counselor, a parent, okay? Like, come on. Like, seriously, these are our children. These are our kids. This is the next generation that we're raising here. Like, it just kind of makes me want to shake my head. And so I was watching a video today by a guy by the name of Bjorn, and he's from Norway. And in Norway, he was talking about the schools in Norway. And the schools in Norway, apparently, are on this type of ideology kick. And so what they're doing is they are, I'm going to show you how dark it is. Can you see that? How dark that is? Yeah. Oh, it's going to be so good. Anyway, what they're going to do, or what they have done, is they have developed sexual, what would you call it? Openness, okay? So they believe that, and most of us parents, if you're a parent, you know this. Maybe your child has touched themselves, right? And you don't make a big deal of it because they're experimenting with their own body, but it's done. We teach them, if you're going to do that, right? It's private time. You go to your room, right? So you're not shocked, but if a child is doing it a lot, okay, touching themselves a lot or that type of thing, then you kind of look at it and you wonder, okay, what's going on in my child's life that is making them focus on that particular area of their life or their body? And so a lot of the times, and I was a social worker, so I worked in the social work field, and I worked with children who had been through all sorts of things, okay? I worked with abused children, sexually abused children. I worked with like so many different facets, right? And I worked in the school system, and you hear of this stuff, and sometimes the information trickles down to you when you're in the field that I'm in. You have to learn about these things, and I took the courses, and I studied, and I was trained in that. And so I do know as a professional that yes, when a child is sexualized at an early age, okay, their brain, their mind, their psychological output is not equipped to deal with that. They're not equipped to deal with those things. Those are for adults. Those are for people who have the capability mentally and psychologically and physically to understand and to deal with those things and to make their own decisions. Okay? So a child that has been sexually messed with as a child, as a toddler, as an infant, they will carry a lot of that memory, and some of it will be blacked out for years and years and years, and then all of a sudden something will trigger the memory. Okay, something will trigger the memory, and it could be a connection with someone that is doing basically the same thing, or it could be, just running into the person who had crossed that boundary, running into that person, or that person being, even if it's part of your group, and you see that person, that could trigger a memory, and that will cause problems, right? Psychologically. So no, I don't believe that children are capable mentally or physically or psychologically to deal with that. However, let's get back to the gist of the story. I just want you to know that I know what I'm talking about. I'm not, this isn't coming off the top of my head, okay? I took courses. I trained in this. I learned of this stuff, okay? I was trained in this. I know what I'm talking about, and I've seen it. And so I don't believe that children are mentally or psychologically inept to deal with being sexualized at an early age. However, in Norway, and I'll put the video down below, you can watch it. So in Norway, children who are self-exploratory, okay, they have a place that they can do that at school. Yeah. Instead of sending a note home with the parents, could you call, because little Johnny, there's some things that took place with little Johnny, and I'd like to discuss it with you. Instead of that, do you know what they're doing? They have a room set aside, a comfortable room. As an adult, when you have to give, as a male, and you have to give a sample of your sperm, and you go in that room, and then they give you a book to read, guess what they're doing to our children? There's a room that is allotted for children to self-pleasure. What in the hell? Oh, honest to God, like this world, like, I don't know. I don't know. Am I just too old for this world? Is my ideology so far out there that I think that children should be children and they shouldn't be somebody's pawn to get their jollies? Like, seriously, let our kids be freaking kids. Anyhow, that's what they're doing in Norway. And on top of that, there is an organization and look it up online. Look it up on Wikipedia, okay? Nambia. I think it's called Nambia. And I'll put the link, I'll put the name of it. No, I won't, because I will not advertise for those people. So no, I won't put the name, but I will tell you what it is, and if you're interested, you look it up. So if you look it up on Wikipedia, it basically says that it is a group of men 30 and older. Jesus. Okay? 30 and older. Group of men who knowingly and openly have relations with minors. And you know what type of relations we're talking about, right? So, yeah. And they think that they should be allowed to, because they think that if you say that a minor, 13, is not old enough to be involved in a relationship, a physical relationship with someone older than them, we're talking minors now, okay, that is a form of ageism. Jesus. Who taught these people? Where did these people come from? Are they from our planet? Like, come on. So they're saying basically is that they think it's ageism if we're saying that they can't have relations in that regard with a minor. Jesus. Yeah. And they don't think that people who are accused of having relations with minors should be upheld by the law and sent to jail. Because in jail, you don't want to put them in the open population, because a lot of people in jail have kids on the outside, and they wouldn't want their kids messed with, okay? So, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So there's a little vigilante justice that takes place behind those iron gates or those iron bars. And so these people, this group, is saying, no, that's ageism. We shouldn't have to go to jail for that. We shouldn't have to pay the piper for that. That should be allowed. They're basically saying that these children, these minors, these kids made that decision to allow some pervert in their 30s or older to do things with them that they're not mentally capable of understanding or even enjoying. What the hell? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh my God. Like, the stuff that takes place in this world, like, you know, I could have a bag packed at any time and move to the bush. And I'll tell you something. The crap that's going on in my country, in Canada, kind of makes me want to pack that bag and go over and maybe, you know, pitch a tent in Russia somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Because at least in Russia, you know what you're getting, right? You know you're going to be controlled. It's a communist country. But here, where I live, the things that are taking place in our world and the things that they are changing to adapt to the new type of woke generation. Now, I have friends. I have close friends who are of the other ideology. I have friends who belong to the LGBTQ++ community, and I absolutely love them, and I love their partners, and I see nothing wrong with same-sex marriages. I think that that's one of the laws that should be changed, where you should be allowed to marry the person you love. I don't care what gender they are, okay? I don't care. I don't care if they're trans or they're lesbian or they're homosexual. I don't care. As long as it's not an animal. Like, come on, right? Or a child. So I don't have a problem with that at all. But I'm going to tell you something. In the school where my children went to school, I heard a rumor, okay? And I asked around, is that true? Is it true? And I was told, yeah, it's true, right? Now listen to this. We live in a nonsensical world, okay? We live in a world full of fantasy, okay? Where is realistically, where are people? Where are people's ideas and where are people's heads? Where is your head at if you think you're a cat? Where is your head at? And you know, there's even an adult. I seen it on I don't know, YouTube or TV, and it's an actual fact. So it's not like I'm putting anybody down, okay? You do you and I do me, but you're not a dog, okay? I don't care how much money you paid a company to make you a costume. You're not a dog. You're wearing a costume. It's a fetish. It's not a gender. You're not a dog. Jesus. And just like I'm not a cat, I have a cat, but I'm not a cat. I call my cat, come to mommy, but I'm not his mom. I'm his owner. And you know what? I don't even like to call myself his owner. I'm his caretaker. You know, that's it. That's it, right? But it's a fetish. It's not a gender. However, in the school where my children frequented, and I have to say frequented, I can't necessarily say they went there, but they frequented, so they did go to school full time, they did, but, apparently, I don't know, maybe I'm just not woke. Anyhow, apparently in the bathroom at the school where I had sent at one time, and I'm not going to say when, but I had sent at one time my own children to study, okay? And they did very well. Yeah, they did very well. However, in that school, in the bathroom, somebody in a position of authority, Okay, let's get this out. Somebody in a position of authority put a litter box. A litter box. Even the great apes, okay? Our evolution, even if we did, evolution brought us from the ape kingdom to now, okay? We learned to walk. We crawled, we learned to walk. We're walking on 2 legs, not 4 legs. We're not animals. We evolved from walking on all 4s to walking on 2 legs. Okay, now I don't know. Maybe my ideology of evolution, maybe it's a little skewed because sometimes we have traits that fish have. It's like, think about it. I mean, this is true. Like, I'm not bullshitting. This is true. This is true shit, right? So frogs. Some frogs can impregnate themselves. Yeah, tadpoles. Think about a tadpole. A tadpole can become a frog. Simple as that, right? Yeah. And some frogs can reproduce themselves. There are many cells, okay, many, I don't know what you call them, protozoids or something like that can reproduce on their own. Well, it's basically true, right? Cells in our body can reproduce on their own. They don't have to have intercourse in order to reproduce. They just multiply. They reproduce on their own. And there are frogs that can reproduce on their own. Think about fish, right? So fish lay their eggs in the water, and then the male fish come along and they fertilize them. So the women lay the eggs, and the male fish come along and they fertilize them. Do you get what I'm saying? Look at an egg. Next time you have an egg, crack that egg up. And you know what I have to do? I have to crack the egg open, and I have to put it in a cup or a glass so I can see if there is any blood on it. Okay, or if that line has formed over the top of the egg, that means that egg was, guess what? That egg was fertilized. That egg was fertilized. That's what it means. So, in order to reproduce a child, okay, it has to be fertilized. Now, fertilized in a petri dish, I don't know what it is. I get you back today. Fertilized in a petri dish, or fertilized in the person themselves, or fertilized in the water, but it has to be fertilized. Jeez, people, come on, use your brain. Male and female have been around here for a long time, okay? And yes, you know what? Yes, there is hermaphrodites, and I know hermaphrodites. But that is where nature has created both organs in one person. But that is, what do you call that? When the cells kind of go out of control and they kind of, it doesn't mean that person isn't a person. It doesn't mean that person is what they feel they are. If a hermaphrodite, if they feel they're female, they're female. If they feel that they're male, they're male. Okay? And that is a personal choice. Okay? But having a child that's a male, and then putting that idea in their head that, okay, you're a tomboy, you like to climb trees, but you like to climb trees, so that makes you a boy. Or you like to play with dolls, so that makes you a girl. No, it doesn't. Jesus, kids are just experimenting. They're playing with toys. They're learning about themselves. They're learning about their environments. And when the time comes, if that child comes to you and says, Mommy, I want to wear a dress to school. Or, Mommy, I feel like a girl. Or, Mommy, am I a girl, or why am I not a girl? I want to be a girl. Then you sit them down and you explain it to them. But I'll tell you something. You don't have to cut off your body parts to be who it is that you want to be. If you want to be a female, okay, you're never going to be a female if you're a male. Okay, you're not. You're going to be a trans female. You can have body parts removed and body parts added. You can wear the persona. You can, go through the transition, but basically, you're a trans female, okay? And you have a right to be called trans female, but you are not a female. You're a trans female, and I honor you for that. I wish you well. I wish you well. And you know, I have seen, there is a trans female on YouTube who is so beautiful. Oh my God. Such a beautiful person, just a beautiful person. And I'm not going to point them out for the simple fact that we have a lot of weirdos out there that, you know, threaten and throw shit at people and, you know, like take it off in a whole different new context, okay? Yeah, there are trans in our community. There are many different ideologies in our community, yeah. But you cannot change your species. Jeez, let's get that straight. Like, you know, you can have an operation and become a trans female or a trans male, yeah. And I give it to you. And I do agree that there should be same-sex marriages allowed, even if it's a civil union. I think they should be allowed. And your spouse should have the right to claim your retirement or your pension or whatever it is. Yeah, what does it matter? It doesn't matter. If you love a man, you love a man. If you love a woman, you love a woman. But listen, loving a child sexually is wrong. Loving a child emotionally and psychologically usually makes you a parent or someone who cares about children. But it doesn't mean that you're going to take advantage of that child's innocence. That's what I'm saying. And this group that was formed in the United States of America, and it caters to, and it is for, men over the age of 30 who prefer and do and acknowledge and actually engage in those type of relationships with minors in the States, in our modern world. And, you know, there's a law. I don't get why this group is still in operation, because there is a law about relationships like that with minors. But there's a whole group based on it. Like, what is going on in our world? Like, I don't know. I just don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So, I'm not sure if you've ever heard of the group, but I just wanted to, you know, kind of put it out there and mention the group and mention my belief system over it and, you know, what they think. And, you know, the LGBTQ++ community, a lot of those people disagree with the use of sexualizing children. They disagree. And a lot of people in that community are pulling away from the pride connection. Yeah, they're pulling away. So everything that they worked hard to gain their freedom to love who they want and to marry who they want is being destroyed by a group of people who are preying on children. And I mean children. And in Canada, I think the legal age now is 16. And I do know this, back in the 20s and the 30s, okay, children were married off at an early age. Yeah, they were, but usually, and at that time, I think the age limit was 14, yeah. And even in some cultures now, I think in some cultures, and I'm not going to name the cultures because I don't know them and I don't know for sure, but you know, through talking about this, I found out that there are some cultures where the children are promised in marriage, and it still takes place to this day. They're promised in marriage to someone the same age, right? So you would have a 10-year-old and a 10-year-old, and they would be promised to each other that in the future, when they become adults, they will be joined as a couple. And a lot of families believe this. A lot of families do this. And so, you know, that's their culture. That's their culture. But they still don't allow a 10-year-old and a 10-year-old to be sexualized. They allow them to play together. Yeah, play. Child play, not adult play. So that's what I'm saying, is that I'm so shocked. I'm so shocked that this shit is taking place in our world, okay? Don't go and jump on the bandwagon with a culture that you're not part of to kind of like give conform to some ideology that you're putting in this pedophile group. Don't do it. Don't do it, because it's not going to happen. Because those cultures, in fact, I do know one culture who is standing up with fellow Canadians who are fighting against the fact that they want to take over the rearing of our children, and they want to make decisions for our children to change genders. Yeah. So, and that culture, that particular culture that perhaps has generational marriages that are arranged marriages, okay? And there's a few cultures that do that, not just one, there's a few, but they don't allow those children to be sexualized early, okay? If anything, they protect the innocent, especially of their women, so that those women, when they get older and they marry the prearranged person, okay, that they still have their innocence. You don't take their innocence on them at an early age. So don't try to say that cultures throughout the world have been doing this for centuries. No, they haven't. They haven't. Your warped sense of what's right and what's wrong is trying to find a forum to put your ideology, and it's just wrong. Sex with a minor is wrong. And there are so many people and so many children in this world who are dealing with issues because of the fact that they were sexualized at an early age, and it's awful. And they deal with those repercussions for years. So, just saying it, just putting my word out there, just saying it. So let's get on to this. I'm going to show you how to make the gravy. And we're going to do it the way Mama used to do it. We're going to do it the way my mom used to do it. So I keep my flour in the fridge, and I told you why. It's because it gets rid of the little critters. If there's any little nits in it, it'll get rid of them. So I gotta get my tray out for the fries. I'm running out of room. Okay, so let's make the gravy first. And I used to have a bottle, a plastic bottle that I did, and then I got rid of all my plastic stuff, So I'm going to reach behind you and get a glass bottle. I'm doing the best. I'm doing the best I can do with this tiny little apartment. So I save these bottles, and I'm going to do some engraving on them. But I do save the caps, so I'm going to put some flour in here. Oh, where's my... Did you know you can put coffee in your gravy to make it darker? Yeah. I'm not doing that, but you can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put about two tablespoons of flour. And then I'm going to put some pepper. And I don't measure. And I got a little bit of salt. I keep all my stuff in containers. So I save all my glass bottles. So I'm going to put a little bit of salt in there. Not much though, because the OXO cubes are basically pure salt. Okay, I'm going to get the lid. Got the lid. And then I'm going to fill it up with water. And I'm going to use the tap water because I ran out of my pre-boiled water. I have to get a filter. I just can't afford it right now. Okay, so I'm going to fill it up with water. Then I'm going to get a fork. You remember back in the day when they used to talk about the lumpy gravy? And that's how it was done. Yeah. So this has got gluten in it, right? Yeah, so. But I'm not using rice flour for gravy. And it's not like I do this all the time. I'm only going to do this once. And all I got to do, you put it in and then you just shake it up. Yeah. And the thicker the flour is, the thicker your gravy will be. Now, I don't know if anybody knows this, okay? Gluten is glue. Gluten, think about it, glue, right? So what does glue do? Glue sticks things together, right? So gluten will stick things together in your system. So basically it'll mess your system up pretty bad. So just be aware of that, right? So it's not like I do this often. This is not going to happen often. Yeah, I think this is This is too thin. I'm going to have to put some more flour. So I don't know, about 3 tablespoons of flour maybe is what I'm going to use to make this thick. I want to show you how dark it is. It's got to be a way. I wonder if I can. Yeah, it would take too much. How can I show you the color of this? Okay, hang on. So look how dark that is. Yeah, it's really good. That is good. That is good. That's really good. That is really good. Oh my God, this is still thin. Yeah, I remember my mom making the gravy with the flour and the water, and it had lumps in it, but my mom, I don't know, she was able to get the lumps out, so I don't know what she did. So when you pour it in, you mix it constantly, right? Mix it constantly. And yeah, you're going to get some lumps. And you just break them down. I've got to turn this up a little bit, it's too cold. This is amazing gravy. It's just amazing. And you know what else you can put in your gravies? You can put cinnamon. Yeah, cinnamon and nutmeg. I'm pretty sure it's cinnamon and nutmeg. However, I didn't have. I don't have any nutmeg. I don't have any nutmeg. I don't think this is thick enough. That's a lot of gluten. I did tell you, I was going to show you. Okay. Yeah. And then we just gotta, you just gotta strain all the lumps out. There's a few. There's going to be a few lumps in there. It's going to be a few. Trust me. Just trust me. It's good. Okay. Next thing, you got to put the fries in the oven. Okay? So, no name fries. I don't know, I'm just learning how to do my cameras. I'm not really sure how to fast forward things, and you know, when you're making the videos and say, okay, well, I'm going to cook the fries, and you know, so what I normally do is I'll say, okay, I'm going to put the fries on, I'll put the fries, show them to you, put them in the oven, I'll turn the thing off, and then I'll edit it and add the other video to it. So I might do that because, you know, I basically said my piece. I got nothing else to really say, and I want to find out the name of that place. I think it's called Nambla, something like that. But it's in the States. It's in the United States of America. United States of America. Yeah, it's just unbelievable that people actually believe that type of stuff. That people actually. That they actually think that they should have a right to do that. Yeah. 30-year-old men. 30. Most 9-year-olds don't even know what it's for. You know what I'm saying? I mean, do you know any 3-year-olds know what they don't know. They don't even have the right terminology for their body parts. And you want them to be able to say, yeah, they want to use it for that specific thing. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, did you not get cuddled as a child? Anyway. I think maybe you got cuddled too much. Okay, so this, I'm going to put this in the oven. So, let's put that on broil and put it on low. And that, I'm going to cut away for a while. I'm going to go finish my collagen with my coffee. I'm going to turn the TV on. I'm going to relax. And when I come back, the gravy will be done and the fries will be done, and I'll show you how I put it together. So I shall see you shortly. Bye. And I are going to the dining room table, and we are going to chow down. So I shall see you in the next video. God be willing. Namaste. Bye.